Welcome to Watch, Review, Repeat. This is the podcast where two best friends discuss the latest in film and television and then do it all over again the following week. My name is Colton Brown, and joining me is Andrew Meadows.
Colton Brown, we have Comic-Con to talk about this week.
We do. We're actually catching up now. I think Comic-Con happened last weekend compared to when we're recording, but we decided it would be in the best interests of not only us but also our listeners to go ahead and just do a whole separate episode, because there is a ton of things to talk about that are Comic-Con related. Lots of trailers, lots of news, panels, all that good stuff that comes with that San Diego Comic-Con territory. So good things to look forward to. I guess it'll be a little bit of a different episode than I think we've really ever done. I mean, we know we've done episodes with tons of news and stuff like that, but no
movie,
no central TV show to talk about this week. So
just a news week, pretty much just news.
Pretty much just news, but we'll have some things to say on a few things, and we'll see how it goes. And if it doesn't go that well, then we'll never do it again. How's that?
Sounds good.
So before we get going, I did want to issue a formal apology for my particular audio from our last episode, our Sorry to Bother You episode. I guess I didn't realize it at the time, but when I was recording, it was set very hot. My mic was set very hot, so the levels were way too high, and as a result, all the audio was basically completely clipped. Tried to repair it best I could, but really the best solution I had was to just quiet it a little bit, and so you could probably notice a lot of distortion in it. If you didn't, great, then I'm apologizing for nothing, but for those of you that did, I apologize. It's one of those things. We recorded almost 2 hours worth of episode, and it's just like I can't go back and re-record that. That's I don't get paid enough for that shit, let's put it that way.
It was a complicated episode too, because we lost connection for like 30 minutes at a time, and it was, I don't know.
Yeah.
Sometimes
we had
it's tough.
We had some technical issues, that is for sure.
Yeah, sometimes it doesn't come together according to plan, man. Just got to roll with it.
You just got to roll with the punches, and roll with the punches we did. So regardless of that, hope you guys enjoyed the episode. Definitely a very interesting, very enjoyable movie. But that's about it. Let's get going on to the regular news before we get into the Comic-Con news. As you mentioned, it's news, but we're going to start with just kind of the regular news from this past week since we recorded last. We're going to start actually with a topic that we talked about last week with our guest Jordan, and that is the Joker movie with Joaquin Phoenix. So last week we talked about Zazie Beetz being up for a role in the movie, and now we're hearing that Robert De Niro, is also in talks to join this Joker movie.
Cool. I guess we'll see what happens. It's shaping up to be a great cast. Maybe they can put something good together,
See, that's the thing. It's kind of just like, damn, that's every cast member they add kind of makes you think, okay, I mean, surely these folks are reading the script and they're seeing something they like. So maybe there is something to this project after all. I will reiterate my thoughts that I don't think this movie has any reason to exist, but beyond the obvious paycheck that starring in a movie gives you, you got to think some of these people. I mean, Robert De Niro, to be fair, has done a lot of shit probably over the past 10 years.
He probably doesn't need the paycheck,
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I think he does a lot of things for paychecks over the past few years, but
okay.
I don't really get that impression from someone like Joaquin Phoenix. I don't get that impression from someone like Zazie Beetz, but I don't know. Yeah, I mean, we'll see what happens. I mean, Todd Phillips might just be a visionary man. Like, he just might have this super perfect idea of, like, this is going to be the definitive origin of the Joker.
I don't need it.
I'm not feeling it, but, I guess I'll remain as open-minded as I possibly can, given that they're
Don't we get that
going
in
full steam ahead.
Do they get that in Gotham?
There's a very outlandish version. So basically, there's a maybe Joker character. And I haven't watched Gotham, mind you, so I'm just kind of telling you from what I have read about and listened to, and a couple of other podcasts that talk about Gotham. So I think that there's like a character that is like basically, he's crazy. He's got kind of the Chelsea grin, and he's kind of implied that maybe this is the origin of the Joker. It's like a young guy, maybe 20s,
right?
And then I think that character gets killed or something like that. But then his twin brother gets exposed. gets exposed to some laughing gas or something like that, and then he gets like the Joker grin as well, and then he's crazy, and that's the last I remember. I don't know if there's anything past that, or if that's just completely inaccurate to begin with, but that's my understanding, is that they made the Joker, but then they're like, J.K. Lowell, it's not the Joker, his twin brother's the Joker, even though he's not actually anything related to it, he just got exposed to some laughing gas.
Okay, well, that's that.
Sounds great. I don't think they're using that for the Joaquin Phoenix Joker movie, but you never know, I suppose. De Niro is reportedly going to play a talk show host that is somehow instrumental in the Joker's origin. So there you go.
Okay, cool.
That is certainly a thing. Another thing we have is a trailer, the second trailer for Alita Battle Angel.
Yeah.
And I'm with two minds on this, to be honest. Like, I think that the movie itself looks like it could be pretty interesting, pretty fun watch, but I don't know, like, it just looks like the business part of me is like, they spent $200 million on it. It looks pretty bad. Like, the CG still looks very rough. The decision-making process of, let's make our main character look super CG compared to everything else, I have to just imagine it's intentional at this point.
Yeah, I don't know. It looks like it's going to be. I'm kind of excited about it. I think it looks kind of fun. But then again, I've been watching a lot of anime. So.
Yeah, well, I think it looks. It looks very live action anime, and I think that it could be fun from that standpoint. I don't know if it's going to be good, I guess, is the real question.
It's almost like it's another iteration. It's like the next evolution of. You remember when they put out those CG movies, like Final Fantasy Spirits Within, and
sure, yeah.
Look, this is almost like the CG is getting so good to maybe we can just implement. It's like they're trying to experiment with just implementing completely CG characters with live action people. Maybe it's not quite there yet, but maybe that's like the next. Like maybe that's like the next step or something. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting, I guess. I mean, we've obviously had a lot of mocap characters, but I guess usually they take on the form of something that is non-human enough that you don't dip into the uncanny valley effect, which is in full display here. Yeah. Right. So, yeah, I mean, I guess, I don't know. I can definitively say that based on the effects work in the trailer, we're not there yet, if that is in fact what they're going for. But at the same time, I also think that, and I think maybe either it was James Cameron or Robert Rodriguez basically said that, like, yeah, it's kind of off-putting at first, but after 2 minutes of watching the movie, you get used to it. And I think that that's probably true.
Sure.
So I think as long as you can kind of put that aside, once you start watching the movie proper, then I think that, as far as the actual movie part of it, it looks fun. I'm definitely interested in seeing it. So yeah, that's a good way of putting it. Comes out in December. I think it's going to get buried in December if they don't push it back again. There's like a million things opening right around Christmas time. It opens the 21st, so it's just right on, the cusp of Christmas happening. So regardless, it will get my money, or will get MoviePass's money. I think I don't know if you saw this, but apparently yesterday Mission Impossible almost killed them, and they have to borrow $5 million just to keep themselves afloat because they didn't have enough money to disperse to their holders to purchase their tickets from. It's pretty incredible.
Oh, I did see that with the MoviePass.
Yeah.
Yes, it's crazy. It's fucking crazy.
Yeah. It's dead in the water, but that's okay. We had a nice ride.
So do we cancel our MoviePass? Is that the thing to do?
I don't know. I mean, you've got there's an AMC pass that you can get onto now that's like $20 a month, but it includes IMAX and stuff. So yeah, I don't know. There's certainly alternative options that have sprung up in now the wake of MoviePass floundering about. So I don't know. we can talk about that perhaps off the podcast and see what our best options are. Let's instead talk about a movie that isn't quite a remake, isn't quite a reboot. It's something that is. It's an inspiration, I guess, and the inspiration is coming from Home Alone. It's a new take on Home Alone, and it's going to be called Stoned Alone. It's coming from Ryan Reynolds, who's going to be producing it. It's going to have a very irreverent, hard R rating, and let me just see if I can get this description for you here. It centers around a 20-something weed-growing loser who misses the plane for his holiday ski trip and makes the best of things by getting high. Paranoia sets in and he believes he hears someone break into his house. Turns out thieves have broken in, fully stoned and fueled by paranoia. He tries to thwart the thieves and defend his castle.
That sounds pretty good.
So, yeah, it's a little bit of a modern-day reimagining with a little edge to it. So, yeah, it could be fun. He said Ryan Reynolds is involved. I'm not sure if he's going to play it says a 20-something. I mean, Ryan Reynolds looks good, but 20-something he is not. So I assume that, he's just kind of creatively involved. Maybe he'd be one of the invaders. That'd be fun.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. Yeah, it sounds interesting enough. I mean, I would prefer something like this, I would say, than a straight, let's just do Home Alone again, but in 2018 or whatever,
Yeah, I don't know. We'll see what happens with it. It sounds funny, though. It sounds entertaining enough.
Right, yeah, it seems like they're doing at least a little bit something else with it, so there is that. We are getting a proper reboot, though, in the form of Charlie's Angels. I guess another reboot, because it was the TV show, and then there was the...
Right.
Was it early 2000s? Drew Barrymore, Lucy Liu, and whoever else was in that. They did two of those, actually, I think. I know Crispin Glover was in it.
They did.
I think he might have been both of them, actually. Anyway, it's getting a new one, a new reboot, and the cast has been announced. The Angels have been announced, I should say. So, principally, Kristen Stewart will be one of the Angels, mostly known, I would say, for her role in Twilight, but she's done a lot more indie stuff, I think, over the past few years. And joining her will be Naomi Scott, who was one of the leads in the Power Rangers reboot, and additionally, she will be Jasmine in Guy Ritchie's Aladdin, which is always a fun thing to say. Guy Ritchie still doing Aladdin. Yeah. And then newcomer Ella Balinska is going to be the third Angel, so I'm not familiar with her, but she's described as a newcomer, so that to me implies that she probably doesn't have a very big resume to go off of. So, yeah, it's a new one. It's happening. Elizabeth Banks is going to be directing it as well, so that's important to note, too. And she's also going to play Bosley, the face of the enigmatic and never-seen owner of the detective agency, Charlie Townsend.
Okay.
So, yeah, from what I can tell, pretty good cast. Kristen Stewart obviously gets a lot of shit for Twilight, but I think she and Robert Pattinson kind of owned it, and we're kind of just like, yeah, we know it sucks, but it's money, and we're popular, and we're going to get roles out of this. So, I don't fault them too much, really. Naomi Scott she was good in Power Rangers. Certainly looking forward to Aladdin.
Guy Ritchie's Aladdin.
I'm done with this. It seems like a good time. I mean, I just looked. 2003 was when that second Charlie's Angels came out. It's been 15 years. Yeah, I mean, that I feel like the Spider-Man thing of like, let's wait like 5 years and reboot it's kind of silly. Unless it's a shitty movie, then rebooting it into the Tom Holland version was a good idea. But generally speaking, I feel like if you're going to reboot a property, give it a little bit of time to cool down before you kind of fire things back up. I think 15 years is plenty of time, though.
Sure, absolutely.
So there you have it. Netflix making some moves, my friend. They have acquired Andy Serkis's Mowgli film.
Okay, that's cool.
So we got a trailer for that a little while back. I know we talked about it on this podcast here, and they've acquired the worldwide rights to it. And instead of getting an October 19th theatrical release by Warner Brothers, it will now be released globally on Netflix in 2019. So it's a bit of a delay on that front. So I don't know if that'll give them more time to work with kind of the CG on it or exactly how it's going to work. I don't know if we have any details on kind of the numbers here as far as what Netflix spent to kind of get this. But yeah, it seems like a pretty solid fit. The only thing I see here that I think that maybe is, I don't know, it's not necessarily worrisome, but it's kind of something I'm curious to see how they'll address, is that Andy Serkis kind of was putting a lot of effort into the 3D release of this. And as far as I know, Netflix doesn't really have a 3D platform.
No, I don't think they do they?
So, I don't know if Netflix will maybe, spring for maybe some sort of limited theatrical release to kind of have a 3D output. I mean, it's one of those things, if Netflix can probably, I know Netflix has the money to put a movie in theaters for a few weeks. Well, that's just it. I mean, right, that's just it. Is something like this going to make enough money to justify the distribution cost to actually get into theaters? Or is it just say, hey, sorry, Andy, we're not going to do the 3D. We're going to dump it on our service and make a lot more money that way, or at least not lose as much money that way, So,
right.
I don't know. Like I said, it's more of a curiosity thing, I guess, for me, in the sense of it does seem like something that if it's filmed with kind of that 3D technology in mind, then maybe it could translate to a really cool 3D experience. But as someone that, I'm largely indifferent to 3D. I'm never really against 3D unless it's just something that's kind of slapped on top of it and post-converted in a very poor manner. But yeah, I don't know that I would pay extra to let me go drop $20 on this movie to see it in 3D, or if I can watch it on Netflix with my Netflix subscription. I think you can probably figure out where most people stand, and I would stand with them.
Absolutely.
Want some news about Disney and the 21st Century Fox deal?
Yeah, let's hear about it.
So I think this again was something else we might have talked about last week, or at least within the past couple of weeks, if nothing else. So Comcast dropped out of the race. The last bid that Disney made was for $71.3 billion to acquire certain assets from 21st Century Fox, of which that would include 20th Century Fox, kind of the movie studio and their associated properties. Shareholders took a vote, and they have approved the merger. So things are looking pretty good.
God bless it. That's so much money.
Lots of money. So basically what this now means is that the merger is expected to be completed in 2019. Now that it has, the approval, it sounds like it's more or less a done deal. It's just a matter of kind of finalizing the details and, getting everything situated. As a side note, there was a rumor that came up, basically no source on it whatsoever, so I think it's probably bullshit. But there was a rumor that with, kind of this deal coming through, Disney was going to basically just throw Dark Phoenix and the New Mutants in the scrap heap and just not release them at all.
Okay.
So the source was like, well, my cousin said this and he works for, and they, they posted on like an internet forum or whatever. It's just kind of like, okay, so there's no legitimacy to this. Right. But at the same time, it was kind of a fun kind of like, well, what does Disney do with those properties? Do you dump them? Do you put them on maybe the Disney streaming service, or do you just, we dropped, Fox dropped, few $100 million into these things. I guess we might as well recoup something, or is it, we're spending $71 billion, $300 million is a drop in the bucket. We can eat that, so I don't know.
It's true.
I don't know. We'll see what happens with it. I would be shocked. I would be shocked if neither of those movies saw the light of day in some form. But until I hear anything, I'm expecting theatrical releases, if nothing else. I would think that get those out and then reboot your X-Men, your Fantastic Four stuff into the MCU within a few years, get them integrated. But we'll see. We'll see what happens with it. Indeed. Very cool news. Star Wars Episode 9 cast reveal per the official press release on StarWars.com. So there's not really too many surprises in here, admittedly, but some definitely. Well, actually, I lied. As far as the cast itself, not that many surprises, but in terms of kind of how they're using that cast, definitely some surprises in here. So returning cast members include, and this is obviously kind of where the obvious comes in, Daisy Ridley, Adam Driver, John Boyega, Oscar Isaac, Lupita Nyong'o coming back as Maz, hopefully in a bigger role at least than her Last Jedi, and Doomhall, Donald Gleason.
Doomhall Gleason?
Doomhall's going to be back, my friend.
Very good.
Kelly Marie Tran, which will surely anger many a fanboy that was not so happy with Rose, Yuna Suantomo, and Billy Lord. And joining the cast of Episode 9 are Naomi Ackie, Richard E. Grant, and Kerry Russell, who will be joined by veteran Star Wars actors, wait for it, Mark Hamill,
okay,
Anthony Daniels, and Billy D. Williams, who will reprise his role as Lando Calrissian. So most of these, again, we talked about very recently. However, I think probably the biggest thing about this, very interesting, the role of Leia Organa will once again be played by Carrie Fisher, using previously unreleased footage shot for Star Wars The Force Awakens. J.J. Abrams goes on to say, "We desperately loved Carrie, finding a truly satisfying conclusion to the Skywalker saga without her eluded us. We were never going to recast or use a CG character. With the support and blessing from her daughter Billy, we have found a way to honor Carrie's legacy and role as Leia in Episode 9 by using unseen footage we shot together in Episode 7.
Interesting.
John Williams will also return to compose the score.
Okay.
As is customary. And there's some crew info here. Release scheduled for December 2019. And Abrams co-wrote the screenplay with Justice League scribe Chris Terrio.
Very good. Sounds exciting.
Yeah, pretty awesome. What I found, everything's all well and good now, but when they put this out this afternoon, there was no mention of Carrie Russell in the press release, and I was just kind of like, oh man, that kind of sucks, because I was, we talked about her, we talked about Billy D coming back, and I was just like, yeah, I'm getting myself hyped up in episode 9, and then they put out this cast announcement with her kind of mysteriously missing. I was just like, was there some sort of behind-the-scenes snafu that basically caused her to drop out of the project, but apparently she literally closed her deal in the span of time for when they put this press release out, and then updated it a few hours later, so that she was kind of added to the bill later on. So very exciting to see Mark Hamill included as well. Presumably Force Ghost Luke. I guess we could get some flashback Luke as well. And, as we talked about, Billy D. Williams coming back as Lando is awesome too. And certainly interesting use of Carrie Fisher here. Certainly remains to be seen kind of how they'll be able to integrate some footage that is obviously not intended for that, the context that they really kind of want to use her for. But if they're confident, if that's the way that they're moving forward with it, clearly they've got an idea, and clearly they've got enough there that they can make it work, in as natural of a way. And I think it's certainly preferable to using CG or anything like that. I just kind of figured they would do a time jump and just kind of write her character out, but
right.
Clearly that's not the direction they're going. So you gotta. Again, I've said it time and time again. I put my faith in Kathy Kennedy. I put my faith in Lucasfilm. I put my faith in the story group and JJ to know what they're doing. Because until they show otherwise, I fully believe they know what they're doing. Yeah. So why is it going to be any different this time? Kind of how I feel about that. That will do it for the movie news. TV news. Well, I guess this is kind of cheating. This is a hybrid. This is a film and television bit of news.
Okay.
Our 2018 episode, when we talked about kind of things we were looking forward to, I think one of the things I mentioned was a Netflix series called The Ballad of Buster Scruggs. It was the Coen brothers' kind of first foray into television proper. And apparently it is no longer going to be a TV show. They've decided to kind of stitch it together into a feature film, 132 minutes in length. And each episode was going to be kind of a different story. And it was an anthology approach. And apparently the film is actually maintaining that. So it's going to be kind of 6, I guess, vignettes kind of centered around this character. But it's just going to be in a feature film version instead of a series version. So...
Right.
Certainly an interesting decision, but it's one of those things. Coen brothers have had many years to show that, yeah, they kind of know what they're doing. So if this is kind of what they feel is best for the project, by all means, Yeah,
it's another group of people that you just kind of trust to do what they need to do. So we'll see how it comes out. I'm sure it'll turn out pretty good. I'm a big Coen Brothers fan, so
yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to it. Actually, I guess just as a side note, it was a series coming to Netflix. It's still going to be coming to Netflix just as a movie instead of a series, so that doesn't really change anything. I think it is going to get some sort of theatrical release, though.
Right.
I guess since we're talking about Netflix and theatrical releases, clearly they're not opposed to it, but regardless, it will be on Netflix at some point in time. And now we can move into another TV series coming to Hulu here in the States. Stars Sean Penn, and it's called The First. It's a basic. I don't know how much you got of it from the teaser. There's a teaser trailer that we're talking about here that they put out. It's about a team of astronauts that become the first humans to visit Mars. I mean, you can definitely see there's obviously very strong shades of, space travel and stuff like that. But as teasers are wont to do, it didn't really lay out the full, I guess description.
It doesn't tell you they're going to Mars.
Right. But I thought that from what we could tell, what we did see in the trailer, I thought it was very stylish. Music was very good. Definitely enjoyed the music in the trailer. So, yeah, it looks interesting. I don't know. How well, I don't know what the hell it's going to turn out because, the teaser I thought was very stylishly shot and, the way it was edited was great, but sometimes there wasn't enough there to get like a good grasp on kind of the plot, dialogue and kind of a lot of those other things that really kind of
matter.
Things that can very much make or break a television show, certainly. So, but it's a good first impression regardless. I'll definitely keep tabs on it and see kind of how things shake out with it. September 14th is when it's set to debut, so it's pretty close actually. So I'm sure we'll get a little bit more in the few weeks coming along. I've got very exciting news for you. I mean, if you looked at the script, you might have an inclination of what this exciting news is. But for our listeners that aren't looking at the script at this point in time, this might be exciting news for them. HBO has set an October premiere date for the return to television of The Flight of the Conchords.
Awesome.
Mr. Jermaine Clement and Britt McKenzie coming back for 1 hour of Flight of the Conchords goodness, October 6th. I'm excited. They had 2 seasons of an HBO show that was fucking awesome, amazing. The albums that they've put out have been also equally amazing, and it's awesome to see them kind of come back to TV. You and I actually caught them live. I guess would have been last year. Is that right?
Yeah, sometime last year.
Yeah. That was an amazing live show.
Yeah,
as a side
it's probably
note.
one of the best live shows, honestly.
Super
really
entertaining. It was a wonderful mix of music and comedy, and that's what Flight of the Conchords does in spades, is just bring you that amazing combination. And I'm super excited. I'm assuming that there's going to be a good amount of new material for this. It's been years since kind of the second season ended, and they basically said like, hey, we can't come up with that many songs and put out a third season within kind of a year's notice. So we're kind of we're happy with what we did, but that's kind of it for us at this point. So I greatly look forward to that. Definitely will be catching that one October 6th.
Definitely.
Also at HBO, we've got some exciting news. I know you're going to be excited about this, and we might have talked about it at some point. I'm not sure, but now it's official. It's officially happening. Deadwood is getting a movie that will complete the series.
Deadwood, yes.
That's right, cocksucker. Deadwood's getting a movie.
Oh man, I need to finish that series. I can't remember if I finished it or not.
Well, it's not very long. I think there's only 2 seasons. So it also could very well be the case. I'm sorry, 3 seasons. 3 seasons, 36 episodes. But I think it was kind of a show. I haven't watched it myself, but I think it was kind of a show that ended kind of in a way that it was just like they clearly were expecting a 4th season, and then kind of the hammer dropped, and it's just like, oh fuck, what do we do now? So this is what they do now. I mean, it's obviously been years since it ended in 2006, but seems like a good time to go back and wrap things up. It's another show kind of in Arrested Development style, where a lot of actors in it weren't as busy then, pretty busy now, so there's a lot of kind of logistics that make it difficult to make a movie like this, just to get everyone involved back for however long it takes to kind of film it. But it's happening. I mean, like I said, HBO has kind of said, yep, we're doing it this time. It's going to start shooting in October, and it's expected to air spring 2019. So that sounds like a good amount of time for me to go back and watch the series and get ready.
Add
for
another
that.
thing to your list.
It's another thing for the list, but it is one that, I got to rank things on the list to kind of pick what I want to watch next, and I would say that, well, it's one of those things where having the immediacy of like, oh, there's going to be a movie that ties everything up. Well, maybe that one jumps to the list, or at least higher on the list. Where I'm kind of just like, okay, now's a pretty good time to do it. So, ready to talk about the last bit of television news?
Yeah, let's talk about the last bit of television news.
The last bit of television news that I have for you is that Altered Carbon has been renewed for a 2nd season at Netflix.
Okay,
which is pretty cool. But I've also got some news that accompanies that. Joel Kinnaman will not return to play the sleeved version of Takeshi Kovacs.
No,
he's busy doing other projects, so he's not coming back. In his place, Anthony Mackie.
Anthony Mackie?
Anthony Mackie will play the new sleeve that Kovacs will take on for the duration of the 2nd season. So, I mean, obviously, that's the nice thing about the way the Altered Carbon universe is set up, is that
it doesn't matter. You
can recast him every season, and it's totally fine. It's kind of the Doctor Who approach, I guess. Maybe we'll talk about that very shortly. But yeah, Kinnaman only had a 1-year deal. He's doing a Hannah reboot based on the think 2010 movie over at Amazon. So he's not involved in this at all anymore. But I would expect that there was... Actually, I don't even know. I mean, it doesn't really have too many details as far as kind of the other cast members, but I think it's one... It's definitely a show where for second season they could kind of do a soft reboot and kind of move it to a totally different setting, totally different cast, while still kind of having it still as a sequel. So I don't know if that's exactly the direction they're going to go in or how they're going to handle it, but
right.
It's cool to see that they've at least announced the second season. I mean, first season premiered, I think, in February, so it's been...
And I think it's cool to see another actor take up the main role, too.
Yeah, I think that's definitely a really good, cool way to go with it, and especially kind of given the ending of the way... that first season ended,
right.
I don't know. I don't want to get, you can listen to our episode on it if you want to get, a more in-depth conversation, but it definitely ended in a way that it, I think it implied that he had a different sleeve, as he was kind of leaving. So we now know what that sleeve looks like, and it looks like Anthony Mackie, who's awesome. So I look forward to it. That's it for the news. That's it for the weekly news. It's now time to round up our San Diego Comic-Con 2018 trailers, panels, bits of news, whatever else came flying at us during San Diego Comic-Con. I think it's the biggest Comic-Con in the world. I know it's set records and stuff for that, and it's just...
It started in San Diego. Fun fact.
Did it now?
It did.
Well, every year in July, the big boys come out to play. They like to, for the thousands of fanboys that, basically are hanging out overnight. We might have done something similar for Celebration, but that was nothing, compared to the likes of San Diego Comic-Con. It's a madhouse from what I understand. I've always thought it would be fun to go, but at the same time, they end up releasing so much of this stuff online that it's just kind of well, do you really need to? Maybe 10, 15 years ago, it wouldn't be as big a deal because you'd see most of that stuff there, and then you wouldn't have a chance to see it elsewhere. But now it's just kind of we're just going to put it all online. So I don't know, but there is certainly something to be said for the experience of it. Yeah, So,
and I bet they have one hell of a convention floor too.
Yes, it's I think they got a pretty massive setup over there. I think it'd be. It's a bucket list item for me still, even considering all those factors, I would love to make my way out there at some point, but
at least once.
We didn't make it out in person, but we're going to cover it digitally. So there's that.
So let's bust through these news. What do we got?
Yeah. So, right off the bat, we're gonna start with some miscellaneous things that kind of didn't really fall into like a overarching category. Doctor Who Series 11.
All right. Yeah.
Got a trailer for it. It's our first appearance of Jodie Whittaker as the new Doctor. She's replacing Mr. Peter Capaldi, first female Doctor. Very interesting. It's about a 50-second trailer, so it's not really much of a trailer. I would say it's more of a teaser, but they're calling it a trailer on the YouTube page. So I guess they're right and I'm wrong. But there is kind of brief looks at Jodie Whittaker as the Doctor, some of her new companions, and it all looks very stylish. I think it all looks very fun. I'm many seasons behind on Doctor Who, but I just from what I can tell, kind of the way this is shaping up, it looks like something that it's another thing that
looks like Doctor Who.
Well, it does look like Doctor Who, but it doesn't look like it looks good. It looks fun.
Yeah. I think Doctor Who always looks pretty fun.
Yeah, so it's one of those things where I might feel more compelled to watch it as well.
Right.
Because they kind of have a new Doctor, but like I said, I'm still so behind. Still got so many things to watch. It is, I would say, in terms of its placement on the list, it's towards the top half, I would say, or at least in the top half. I'll say it's in the top half.
It's in the half.
You heard it here first.
You think it's in the half?
I think it's in the top half.
The top half,
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Of things that I would like to watch at some point in the future when I get time.
I tell you what's not in my top half.
No? Okay. All right. Tell me what it is. I mean, I know what it is, but tell our listeners what it is.
Oh, the next two topics are definitely nowhere in my halves.
No, they're not even in the bottom half. They're just not on the list at all.
They're not even on the list at all.
Okay, well, we'll tell our listeners. I'll let you take the reins.
So we got some Comic-Con exclusive coverage for Star Trek Discovery Season 2. and Orville season 2. Not to put them both together like that, but
well, like I actually, I put
related.
them together on the script. Yeah, they're one's literal Star Trek and one is figurative Star Trek, I guess, in a way.
Yeah, one's a spoof, I guess, and the other one doesn't intend to be a spoof. But they, I don't know. They didn't appeal to me before. I heard the Orville was big shit though.
I heard that it started off pretty poorly and then it got pretty good as the season progressed.
Okay, well then maybe I digress. Maybe I need to be corrected. Give it a shot.
I think what happened, if we're talking about the Orville specifically, I think what happened with that, and even Seth MacFarlane, who's kind of the creator on it, basically kind of said that Fox kind of mismarketed it as kind of a spoof when it's not really a spoof. Oh. It's just more... It's more Star Trek-y than the trailers ever led you to believe, just kind of with a little bit more humor injected into it. But I think that even those first few episodes did kind of have Family Guy-esque humor, and then kind of as the season progressed, it was just kind of more just straight Star Trek with lesser production values, and certainly not as serious of a tone and look as Discovery has, as kind of the counterexample, but definitely not kind of what the trailers led you on to believe it was, because I saw whatever the trailer was they put out for it, I think maybe the Super Bowl last year, and I was just like, this looks fucking terrible. it looked real bad, so I didn't watch it, kind of based on that, but I did kind of track it just to kind of see what the response was. It got a season 2. I was like, well, usually things that get season 2 means that people were watching it, so people typically are watching for reasons. I mean, it's not always the case. Big Bang Theory has had 40 seasons despite being one of the worst shows, if not the worst show on television. So, there's not always a one-to-one relationship, is what I'm saying.
A lot of people really like that show. You're going to piss a lot of people off.
That's fine. It's fine.
I tell you what looks fucking cool.
Okay.
Is that Dragon Ball Super Brawly trailer. Holy shit. You want to catch up on Dragon Ball?
I don't think I'm going to catch up on Dragon Ball anytime soon.
That needs to be like number 3 on your list.
I don't know. Let me ask you this. I don't want to get too off base here, but
okay.
I think you watched Dragon Ball Z as a kid, right?
Yeah.
Did you watch the original Dragon Ball as a kid too?
Not as much. No, I was mostly a Z kid.
Okay, well, so my question is, as someone that basically didn't watch Z at all, does it make sense for me to just like jump in on Super from like episode 1 and then, or is it one of those things where like, oh no, you should probably watch Dragon Ball Z and then watch Super? Because if it's kind of the latter case, I'm like,
no, you could probably start with Super. I think that's perfectly fine. I mean, there's history there with characters and stuff, but at the same time, I don't think it's necessarily... You don't necessarily have to have it. I think you're perfectly fine.
All right, fair enough. Like I said, I don't want to get too off base. Let me ask you another question.
Okay.
Do you know anything about Broly in terms of kind of his relationship to Dragon Ball lore and such?
I think he's like a... I'm going to sound like an idiot because I'll probably be wrong, but I think he was supposed to be like a Saiyan King or something. I think. I know he was referenced in the past, and I saw some things that like he's officially in the lore now. He's part of canon. So I don't know where he was at to be disregarded as canon before. I don't know.
Right. So that's kind of where I was confused, because I've been looking at this and I saw the reactions. People are like, "Holy shit, fucking Broly's coming back," and I'm just like, "Who the fuck is Broly? I don't know who he is, but okay, he looks fucking insane. He looks like everyone else in this fucking show." But so I guess what I can gather is that I guess there were a bunch of Dragon Ball Z movies that were made kind of, as just movies
that's right.
I guess for whatever reason weren't intended to be part of the series canon. I don't know why they would have been made in such a way, but I guess because of that they haven't been considered canon. But for whatever reason, this movie is now being considered canon. I mean, I guess it's one of those things. The creator can just kind of choose what he wants to be canon, what he says is not canon. I don't know. As someone that has basically no familiarity with kind of the show or any kind of the history on here, I just saw the reactions of people like, "Oh my God, they're doing it." And I'm just like, okay, cool. It does look fun. It looks
pretty cool.
It looks Dragon Ball, it looks like,
Screaming and yelling and kung fu.
A lot of screaming and yelling. It seems a very Dragon Ball kind of thing. We're like, yes, we've just gone through this tournament. We fought the baddest motherfucker in the galaxy, and then, nope, I'm sorry, this guy's the baddest motherfucker in the galaxy. Just kidding. You got to fight him now. Yeah, it seems very Dragon Ball to me as an outsider.
Yeah,
So,
that's what it's about, man. It's cool.
but I as long as fans of the show enjoy it, then hell, I'm all for it. I got no issues with this. Is there anything else in the miscellaneous? Was that it?
We got the Deadly Class on Sci-Fi. I thought that looked pretty cool too.
Yeah, Deadly Class.
Directed
this
by
looked interesting.
It's directed by the Russo brothers.
Well, I'm not sure if they're directing it,
Or
but they are
produced.
exec producing it. Yeah. So yeah, that definitely is a good sign. They seem to have a pretty good thing going. Yeah, I guess it's based off of a graphic novel. I think from Image. 2014, I guess, is when it debuted. Good cast, Benedict Wong. It's pretty cool to see him pop up in a show like this. I thought it looked pretty interesting. It's about a private assassins academy called King's Dominion and the introduction of a homeless but cunning Marcus to the often murderous teens who attend. So, it looked very stylish. Russo involvement definitely gets me hyped. Sci-Fi being the channel it's on gets me anti-hype, I will say, but...
Well, they have had good things before.
Well, let's say the thing is that they might have good things, but the good things don't last.
That's true.
We've already established this, so we'll watch it for the seasons that it gets before it gets canceled and hopefully picked up by the next network because Sci-Fi's a bunch of dipshits. So, but yeah, I definitely something that piqued my interest from the trailer. I'm not sure if we have a premiere date on it yet. I don't know when it's coming out, but it's coming out eventually.
Yeah,
Sci-Fi
that's
will
cool.
put it out, so that's cool. All right, I guess we can kind of get into some other things here.
What do we got?
So let's start in the world of Marvel Television.
Of course.
So this is kind of covering a few different things here, not just Marvel Studios and in Marvel, TV as extension of Marvel Studios as part of the MCU. First thing is very much not MCU related at all. It's The Gifted Season 2. Got a trailer for it. I am very confident that you did not watch any of Season 1. Am I wrong?
No, I did not watch. No.
Okay.
I did not watch any of it.
I did watch it, and I know I've at least kind of said some of my thoughts and are catching up on probably an episode way back. And I thought Season 1 was kind of a bit an up and down thing. It seemed kind of hamstrung by network limitations, but there was a lot of interesting ideas at play, and I thought that the way that it ended, kind of the last few episodes, really kind of kicked it in gear big time.
And what do you think this looked like? Did you like it?
Yeah, I did like it. It looks like they're kind of pushing the show into a good direction. And they're introducing some more X-Men elements, which is kind of cool. Morlocks was pretty cool to see, kind of them kind of coming into the fold somehow. So I'm not expecting anything. I'm not expecting Legion. I guess maybe to put it as a obvious point of comparison to a Marvel television show in the X-Men universe. I think that The Gifted is a good step down from anything like that, but it's definitely much more of a straight-laced affair. I would say, it's a bit more digestible,
Right.
for more casual audiences, certainly. But it's fun. I did enjoy it. Did you watch the trailer for this out of curiosity?
I did.
Okay, as someone that didn't watch Season 1, what was your impression then?
It looked okay. Just thought it looked okay. It did not intrigue me enough to say, "Ooh, I really got to catch that first season."
Sure.
It didn't give that to me, but it looks like a show that's happening. It's got X-Men involved. And portals are cool. She was drawing a portal on the wall. That's neat. So that's about my feelings about it. Just looks like a show that's happening.
Yeah. It's interesting because I wonder what happens to this show, what happens to Legion when kind of the Disney Fox thing goes through. They just say, whatever, they're separate universes, they're not connected to the X-Men cinematic universe, or do they say, nope, sorry, you're done? Because it'd be shitty to kind of lose Legion when it's so not connected to anything else that Fox has been doing with the X-Men characters.
I feel like Disney would say, you know what, that's some real good shit. Let's just build on it.
Right. I could see this one kind of getting the short end of the stick because it's kind of like there's a lot of X-Men talk and blah blah blah, and in a way that Yeah, it could be part of, like kind of a sequel-ish kind of to where the movies are, but it's not outright confirmed to be connected or anything like that, whereas Legion's just kind of fucking in another planet. Like,
right. Some crazy stuff.
We'll see. I mean, Legion's getting a season 3 if nothing else, so so far so good. We'll see. More Marvel TV. Cloak and Dagger has been renewed for a second season at Freeform.
Okay.
I think they announced it during the Comic-Con panel. So,
did you watch it?
I haven't watched any of it. I've heard it's pretty damn good.
Actually. Yeah?
Not like, mind-blowing, amazing good, but like really, really solid for kind of what it... In a way that...
Like better than
like
CW stuff?
Yeah, like a good cut above that.
Okay.
Is kind of the impression I've gotten. It's for me, it's a show that, Freeform's kind of like a... Ooh, okay, it's on Freeform.
Tread carefully.
Well then, I know you're still ABC family, so you can't, I see through your lies. It's one that I think that I will go back and watch again when I get time. It's probably also on the top of half of my list, maybe not quite towards the top of it, but I think it's a shorter first season as well, which is probably helpful in the sense that, oh god, it's not 23 episodes of crap to get through. I think it was only maybe 10 or 13 episodes. So
right, yeah,
it's on the list. It's on the list. I can say that with certainty. And obviously, if it's good enough to get renewed, then good for everyone involved. I think that's good.
That's it.
Iron Fist season 2 is another Marvel television show that's happening, and we've got a few things to talk about as far as Iron Fist season 2 is concerned. So. We know that it's going to be coming to Netflix on September 7th. It will be premiering all 13 episodes. And we got a very small kind of a date announcement teaser trailer where it shows the immortal Iron Fist, protector of Kunlun, sworn enemy of the Hand, squaring off against some thugs in New York. And a very, very brief snippet of some Iron Fist action, the actual usage of the Iron Fist action. Let's start kind of speaking strictly about that little teaser that we got, the date announcement. How did that make you feel as far as Iron Fist is concerned?
It's got Danny Rand in it.
Danny,
yeah,
Danny, my boy. I haven't been on the podcast for many months.
We need to get him back.
I'm back, Danny. If you thought I was gone, but I came back. My name's Hero.
I brought you the cinnamon wheat ice cream.
You're going to eat the cinnamon wheat ice cream, Danny, you motherfucker.
Danny Rand. I can't wait for Danny Rand to come back. I'm excited.
I am legitimately looking forward to this. I don't
know why. Yeah.
It's like, I don't know if I'm just a glutton for punishment or what. I don't know what is happening here, but I am legitimately looking forward to... I think, honestly, it's a curiosity thing, certainly, well, it can't be as bad as the first season, right? Like, they've made steps. They got rid of Scott. I like to fuck. Shows up Buck. They gave people time to prepare for fight scenes. They brought in a new fight coordinator that worked on Black Panther. It seems like they're bringing out the big guns. And apparently, haven't watched it yet. Apparently, Danny is pretty solid in Luke Cage season 2. Like, he's pretty good in that. Finn Jones is good in that as Danny. So, like, I don't know if they've totally righted the ship for a season 2, but from what I can tell, it seems like they're at least making an earnest effort to say, okay, we kind of screwed the pooch a bit. Let's course correct, as much as we can. There was more details. There was more footage shown off at the panel than just kind of that 1 minute thing that they showed online. The little teaser didn't do a whole lot for me. It looked okay. Certainly better than the worst of Iron Fist season 1 in terms of the choreography, but nothing that blew my socks off by any stretch of the imagination. But apparently the kind of what they showed off at the panel was pretty fucking dope from kind of what the reactions are showing.
Well, good. I hope it is.
Yeah. When Misty Knight's coming in to this season as well, which is pretty cool. And I guess they actually showed, there was like a fight scene there's flashbacks to Kunlun and like actual like proper flashbacks of like him like fighting and shit like that. I guess there's a scene with him fighting Davos and Kunlun, and apparently they're both wearing comic book accurate masks.
Nice.
So that's pretty interesting. So, if that's their way in to say that, oh, you remember that thing I wore in Kunlun? Maybe I'll wear that now. Do it, you dickhead. Do it. What else did they show? Oh, they revealed that Alice Eve is going to be playing Typhoid Mary, the villain in the season, which is fucking awesome. I think she was rumored for Jessica Jones season 2, and that didn't pan out. I think she's traditionally a Daredevil villain.
Okay.
Technically speaking, Daredevil is dead in the universe right now, and Iron Fist is kind of serving as in his place. So it's somewhat appropriate for Typhoid Mary to come in. I think she's got like kind of like I don't know if it's a split personality, if she has like multiple personalities, but each one kind of has. I think they have like different powers and stuff like that. So it could be pretty fun. And Alice Eve is always welcomed. So yeah. I'm looking forward to Iron Fist season 2. Fuck it, man. I'm not saying it's going to be good, but I'm down to watch it. If
absolutely,
else, I just want to see how it improves, assuming it improves. And also, Colleen Wing. I'm always in for some Colleen Wing. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, always. Total Bay.
Mm-hmm. Indeed. Let's move into the world of DC television.
Oh gosh.
So this includes obviously the likes of CW, your favorite network, legitimately my favorite network. It's not, but it's
pretty close.
I've got a soft spot for it, I'll admit. This is also including the forthcoming DC Universe streaming service, which we got our first look at Titans, which is going to be the first live-action TV series that is going to debut when that streaming service goes live. It's based on the DC Comics team of the same name. So we've got Dick Grayson / Robin, Starfire, Raven, Beast Boy, and we got a trailer showing all these characters off. And there's only 2 words that really summarize this trailer, and I'm sure you can tell me what they are.
Is it fuck Batman?
Goddamn right it is.
What the fuck is this? Oh man, I don't know. Did I have high hopes for this? I can't remember how I called it.
I think I probably had higher hopes, in the scheme of things, because I think you've been kind of down on a lot of the DC stuff recently. It's fair, it's warranted. But I was kind of, like, okay, it's not CW, it's not part of that universe, it's DC kind of doing their own thing, it's Geoff Johns, it's Greg Berlanti, and it's like all this sounds great. Like, this all sounds great. They probably have a better budget to work with. If any of that was true, it was not on display here, because holy fuck, this looks real bad. Like, worryingly bad. And not even just in the sense that, like, the footage looked bad, but, like, the way the trailer was edited was so amateurish. It's just kind of like, oh my god, like, if this is what you're putting out as your product, what the fuck are you hiding? Because
definitely shithouse, man. Definitely shithouse.
It looked bad. Like, just even fuck Batman. Like, I don't even know that was the worst of the trailer. Just all the beats in it with Raven. She looks bad. And everything looks bad. Everything there's nothing in this for me other than Robin's costume that translates well to a live action medium. So
yeah, his costume looks pretty cool.
I will probably watch it. I will probably watch it at least a few episodes, unless it's just Inhumans level of bad and I can't do it anymore, which it very well could be. I'm not saying, I don't think it's going to be that bad, but there's not anything in this trailer that really tells me that it's it's kind of a grimdark version of that in terms of quality. I don't know. I hope that maybe that is just kind of indicative of how the first few episodes are, and then it kind of rights the ship as it goes on. We'll see. I'm not expecting you to watch this. I'm not expecting us to cover this on the podcast in any sort of form, other than maybe me talking about how bad it is. So I'd like to be proven wrong. So how's that?
That's fair. We all like to be proven wrong on it.
Yeah. But, clearly, the higher-ups are happy with it. They're doubling down on getting these live-action shows going for the DC Universe streaming platform. Stargirl is now next. Geoff Johns attached to this one as well. She is part of the Justice Society of America. In the comics, Stargirl she appeared in like one of the episodes of Legends Tomorrow, I think in season 2, because they meet the JSA when they go back to the past. I don't think it's going to have anything to do with that, mind you, but it's interesting that Stargirl is kind of the character they're going for. But
right.
I guess. I didn't realize this. I was just looking at it. I guess Geoff Johns created the character, so obviously there's some connection there. So I guess that makes sense from that standpoint. So we'll see. I think it's supposed to be part of the same universe that Titans and Doom Patrol, the forthcoming Doom Patrol, are going to be in. So we'll see. I don't know. I'm quickly running out of time to watch all these fucking shows. Berlanti Productions has a record-breaking portfolio of 15 live-action series. So are they spreading themselves too thin? The quality suggests that they might be.
I tell you what, I'm running out of time for.
What are you running out of time for?
This Young Justice Outsiders. That's probably the longest trailer I've ever seen.
It was like 5.5 minutes. Part of me was wondering, because this is a continuation of, I think they did 2 seasons of it, maybe 5 years ago, and it got canceled, and everyone's like, "Fuck you, I want it back," and whatever. It was very well received. And then, with the DC Universe, they're reviving it for another season, 26 episodes for the 3rd season.
Right.
But the trailer, I kind of, I booted it up, and I'm like, fuck, this is a 5.5 minute trailer. Like, what's going on here? I don't, having not watched any of the other seasons, part of me was just like, maybe the first half of this trailer is just kind of summarizing, like maybe what happened in season 2 or something like that. Because it seemed like the first half of the trailer was kind of very different, much bigger in scope. And then the last half of the trailer was just kind of like the fallout of maybe the events of that. So that's kind of the impression I got, but I don't know if that's the case at all, having not watched any of it.
Right.
What I will say though is, in terms of interpretations of DC characters, this is much more my speed than Titans. I thought that
yes, definitely.
Barring the length of the trailer, I thought this looks pretty cool. I've heard great things about the show, and I think that the first 2 seasons will be available on the streaming service when it does go live. I thought it definitely is something I would be interested in more immediately, I think, than Titans. Definitely.
I can think of
that's a low bar. I get it, but drawing the immediate DC comparison,
right,
if nothing else, let me say this: I thought it looked pretty good in its own right. Not even talking about Titans.
And you got all your CW shows getting trailers, yeah?
Yeah. But did you watch any of them?
No, I did not watch any of them.
I gave you permission to not watch any of them. Yeah, I gave you the free pass. I was like, look, dude, I know where you're at with that shit. I ain't gonna put you through 50 fucking trailers for their 50 shows that they put out.
Brief overview. What'd you think?
So I didn't watch the Black Lightning and Riverdale trailers. Full disclosure. I only watched 1 episode of Black Lightning. I liked it. It's one that I would like to continue. I've heard good things about Riverdale. Actually, I think I pretty much got the mid-season finales of everything of the previous year. These are all trailers for things that are starting up this fall. So I'm basically half a season behind on everything. So I kind of treated it maybe the way that you were talking about The Gifted, where let me watch this trailer, and it's like, I'm kind of inadvertently spoiling things from the first season or whatever the previous season. But if there's a hook in here, if there's something that makes me really interesting, then maybe it inspires me to go back and watch things. So that's kind of where I'm at with it. I'm like, okay, is there something in here that okay, that's an interesting plot point. I want to go back and see how they got to that point. So Arrow, the Arrow trailer, I guess Arrow spoilers for anyone that cares. Oliver apparently starts the season in prison, so that's pretty cool.
Okay.
I'm enjoying that. I don't know if he's confessing, I don't know if he's going, I am Iron Man or I am the Green Arrow, or exactly how that played out at the end of the last season, given that I didn't see it. But I think that's a good angle. We see him kind of coming up against a lot of characters that he has put in prison. So I think that's always fun to kind of see it like that. I think like Michael Jai White's Bronze Tiger was there, and we haven't seen him since like season 2 as far as I'm aware. So like I was like, that's pretty cool. So yeah, maybe go back in on Arrow. Plus, they changed showrunner, and a lot of the creatives kind of shuffled around. So I think that maybe Arrow could see a resurgence.
Okay,
maybe, just maybe. I would like to see it. The Flash I thought looked somewhat interesting. So I guess Barry and Iris's daughter traveled back in time from the future, and apparently she fucked up the timeline somehow, and so she's kind of part of the cast now, and they're kind of like, oh shit, we gotta fix the timeline again, we gotta unfuck the timeline. So I'm like, yeah, it's all right, that seems fun, whatever. Supergirl didn't do a whole lot for me. The trailer itself, I guess I was kind of looking in the comments, and it seemed like it was mostly just footage from the previous season, and there was not a whole lot of new stuff. I look at, Melissa Benoist is enough to get me to keep watching Supergirl. I will completely cop to that, but it's not my favorite CW show, I'll say. My favorite CW show is DC's Legends of Tomorrow, because I think it's legitimately fucking great. It's not like the most well-written show or anything like that, but as far as the CW stuff, it definitely strikes the right balance of, acknowledging how kind of dumb a lot of it is, and kind of leaning into that while still having some really great heartfelt moments. So
right,
and the trailer for that looked pretty great. So Legends is the only one I think that I really am kind of like, yeah, I should go back and finish Legends. I really enjoyed that. The other ones are kind of just more perfunctory, like, well, I made it this far,
Right.
So yeah, I think that'll do it for the DC television.
We get some Star Wars Clone Wars, man.
Yeah.
Little Ahsoka reveal. That looked pretty fucking cool.
Yeah, this one came out of left field too, didn't it?
It did.
Yeah, pretty cool. I mean, we knew that they were doing the Resistance show. Where you knew that there was going to be another animated show coming. But 12 all new episodes of Star Wars: The Clone Wars coming to Disney's streaming service. Yeah, it's pretty awesome. I guess I don't know exactly kind of if this is using storylines that Filoni kind of previously had, because there was Clone Wars basically got canceled, and there was storylines that were kind of left unfinished, and things that they wanted to tell, but a lot of that got kind of adapted into other things. I think like Netflix did like the Lost Missions or whatever a little bit later, and even like Son of Dathomir, the comic book, was originally a Clone Wars arc that was going to be an animated version of that, but then it got canceled before they got a chance to actually do that, so they just kind of put it out as a comic book. So I don't know if this is using those scripts, or if this is just saying, hey, we've got the opportunity to just kind of do more with these characters. We'll see. I mean, certainly I don't, obviously it's animated later, but like even Anakin looks very different. Like he almost looks closer to what the Revenge of the Sith Anakin's supposed to look like.
Right.
So maybe there's a time jump. Obviously Ahsoka's a little older now, but she kind of, we kind of saw her age throughout the show as well. So I don't know. Regardless, very exciting news. Definitely very awesome news as well. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah.
Maybe it's the time for me to finish the Clone Wars. I got through. I think I'm somewhere in season 4. When things are getting good is kind of when I jumped ship, just because I got busy with other things and never made my way back. Nothing to do with kind of how I like the show. I greatly enjoyed it, but it's another one. Good time to go in, finish it, and then when I do finish it, jump right into Rebels, right?
Absolutely.
So there you go. That's it for the Star Wars news. Unfortunately, as far as San Diego Comic-Con is concerned, we got a little Star Wars news earlier in the episode. I mean, what more could you ask for?
That's it.
Than
got to sprinkle a little Star Wars in there.
Like a little trailer or something like that. But you don't want to get too greedy, especially when we can just talk about Sony's riveting Venom panel instead.
What happened in the Venom panel?
Yeah, they showed off some footage, a few things here and there. the general impression I get is that it's not exactly looking any better than the trailers indicated. So whatever your opinions are on those is probably how you would have felt about these the footage they showed off here. We did learn that the villain is going to be Riot, who is a symbiote or a symbiote. I'm not sure. Apparently there's the use of the word symbiote in the footage, and it's pronounced correctly. So I don't know if they went back and reshot what they fucked up, or if it's just going to be inconsistent throughout the movie. I hope it's the latter, because that sounds awesome.
Nobody can agree what to call it.
Riot is the villain. He's a lesser known symbiote from the comics. He's going to be portrayed by Riz Ahmed, who is kind of the businessman that I don't know, I guess is the one that's kind of like experimenting with the symbiotes or whatever. Okay. I guess the hook with this is that the symbiote is a body hopper, and you never know where Riot's going to show up, is what they teased. That was a quote from the director, Ruben Fleischer. So, I mean, if that doesn't get you hyped, I don't know what will. Maybe the Titans trailer. Again, just watch it on repeat.
Fuck Batman. Spider-Man, though. Spider-Man into the Spider-Verse got some stuff, yeah?
Yeah. I say there's really not much with Venom, other than I think they confirmed Tom Holland will not appear in the movie.
Oh, thank you.
So, yeah, good thing. I would have been not thrilled with that. Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse definitely looks much more... What is it with the animated things? The animated thing is much more my speed right now. Mm-hmm. It seems to be a trend, but yeah.
It's about the only thing DC gets right.
Well, this is Marvel. You mean Sony?
Sony, yeah. Well, yeah. Sony and DC. And
Sony, they kind of fuck things up. Yeah, that's fair. So we got some information about some new versions of Spider-Man that are going to be in the film. So Spider-Man Noir will be in the film, and he's going to be voiced by... I don't know if you read this. Do you know anything about this at all? Let me ask you that.
I don't know anything about it, no.
If you could pick one man in the world to voice... It doesn't even have to be Spider-Man Noir. Just the greatest actor in the world. Who would it be? Like, just to voice anything.
I
think something
John
that would
Hamm's
get you
got a
really
good voice.
fucking excited. Okay, yeah, John Hamm. But I think more like, I'm a vampire. I'm a vampire.
Oh, Nick Cage.
Fucking Nick Cage is going to be Spider-Man Noir.
Fuck yeah, that's cool. All right.
Additionally, Penny Parker, who is an anime-inspired version of Spider-Man, that her Spider-Man suit is like a robot that she can pilot. She's going to be in it. And then my personal favorite, someone I've been rooting for since day one, Spider-Ham, is going to be in the movie. I love Spider-Ham.
Voiced by John Hamm?
Not as far as I know.
Okay.
But he is going to be in the movie, and he's great. A lot of the Spider-Gwen comics, I think there's one that she gets hit in the head, and then she spends the whole comic like talking to an imagined version of Spider-Ham the whole time. It was pretty awesome. So this looks awesome. I think this. I mean, that latest trailer we got was great. So definitely something I'm more excited about than anything Sony put out. And I mean, I guess Homecoming, if you include Homecoming, then that's the last thing I guess I got excited about that Sony put out. But beyond that, I don't understand how they're still a film business.
Yeah, no kidding. We got some Warner Brothers and DC stuff, though.
Yeah, Warner Brothers. I mean, well, okay. So I guess before we get into Warner Brothers, I guess it's worth pointing out that Marvel Studios elected to pass on appearing at San Diego Comic-Con. You know, they got Captain Marvel they could have shown off. So Avengers 4 they could have shown off. They said, we'll do it later. I expect D23, Disney's own expo, will probably get some more details on at least Captain Marvel, if I had to guess. But yeah, Marvel Studios, total no-show as far as the cinematic output is concerned, which leaves kind of the floor wide open for Warner Brothers and DC Entertainment to come in. And, you know, obviously there's a lot of DC movies they talked about, but even beyond that, WB went pretty heavy with kind of the other movies that they're putting out. First of which is Fantastic Beasts: The Crimes of Grindelwald. Got a Comic-Con trailer for this. It's another long trailer, not super long, but like 3.5 minutes. Longer than your standard trailer. But I think it went, at least for me, it played to good effect. I thought that got me a lot more excited about the movie than the first, I guess, teaser trailer did. What did you think?
I thought it looks okay. I'll watch it. That's about it. It's about it. I can't say that I got really excited about any particular trailer. Besides, I mean, Star Wars got me pretty pumped, and Deadly Class and Dragon Ball. Those were probably my 3 favorite trailers. But
okay.
All these trailers were just okay. All the ones that we're going to be covering. Fantastic Beasts was okay. I'll watch it because it's Harry Potter, and it might be okay.
Well, it's not Harry Potter. It's the Wizarding World, man. It's before Harry Potter.
And the Fantastic Beasts, The Crimes of Grindelwald, which is a
terrible title. Yeah, it's just real bad. Also, Johnny Depp still sucks.
Yeah, like I said, I don't know. I don't know about it. I like Jude Law. I think he'll be cool. But that's about all I got on that.
Yeah, I think that, kind of the world that they've built. I enjoy seeing kind of this prequel world of the Wizarding World. I think that's kind of a fun place to play with it. Yeah, I mean, I liked the first one. I wasn't blown away by it, but I thought that this one looked fun. The prospect of having 5 of these movies doesn't get me overly excited, but I'm not opposed to it, I guess. It's one of those things where I'm not groaning because they're making a bunch of these. I just don't. It doesn't. I would agree in the sense that I'm not like super fucking hyped. Like I'm gonna beat down the doors to get in there at midnight. Right. I'll probably see it opening weekend, assuming I'm not busy and I have time. And yeah, I mean that's fine. That's fine for me. So
tell you what, I will go see opening weekend though.
Yeah,
I'll go see that Godzilla King of Monsters. I mean, it didn't get me totally pumped. I think it looks okay, maybe slightly stupid, but it's fucking Godzilla and a bunch of giant monsters. I'll go watch that weekend one, opening weekend, whatever.
I disagree. I think this looks fucking awesome.
Yeah, y'all about it?
I'm all about this one. Yeah, I think this looks great. This looks significantly better than the previous Legendary entries. I mean, I guess maybe the trailers were stylish for both the 2014 Godzilla and Kong last year, but
I like that Japanese Godzilla or Korean one or whatever that was.
Shin Godzilla.
Yeah, that one was good.
Yeah, that one was awesome. It was Japanese, but yeah, I mean, this is technically a sequel to the 2014 Godzilla with Kick-Ass and Bryan Cranston in it.
Right. It's definitely looks better than that. I didn't understand I don't know about this the Titan angle they're playing. But I don't know. We'll see how it is. It looks pretty fucking cool.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I kind of see where you're coming from in the sense of like, who gives a shit? It's just gonna be big fucking Godzilla fighting Mothra and fucking Rodan and King Ghidorah. We don't need no stupid fucking plot about a fever and the world's got to correct it. No, just have them fight, man. It's fine. Right. It's fine.
It's like the you remember Reign of Fire? These people were mining. They fucking mined too deep and they unleashed the dragons. They destroyed the earth. Yeah, that's cool shit. That's fine. I'll take that. I don't need to. I don't know. I'm a simple man with simple needs.
We'll see. I guess we'll kind of see how that plays in like the final product of like how much of a focus that is. I mean, Godzilla's already emerged, so it's kind of just like.
Yeah.
I don't. All right. Well, I mean, like it's already a known quantity, and even did you see Kong Skull Island?
No, I own it. I haven't watched it.
Oh, well, okay. So some minor spoilers for the mid credits or post credits or whatever the hell. They tease like King Ghidorah. I think particularly kind of like a. You think King Kong is the only monster in this world? You ain't seen nothing yet, motherfucker. Like, it's kind of a lot of that. It's kind of a way to tie it in. Which that one took place, I think, in like the 70s. So, I don't know where because they're doing this movie. They're doing Godzilla, King of the Monsters, and then they're doing a Godzilla versus King Kong movie after that. So it's like
Godzilla versus King Kong.
So I guess Godzilla wins at the end of this movie. Spoilers.
I would, yeah, of course.
He is the king of the monsters. It wouldn't make sense.
How is that even a competition?
But then he's fighting King Kong, and it's just like, well, they made King Kong like fucking enormous. He's much bigger than he is in most of the other incarnations.
Godzilla shoots laser beams out of his mouth.
But yeah, like they're gonna have to give King Kong some serious buffs. or like maybe he teams up with Mecha Godzilla or some shit. Like I don't know.
Or maybe he's a mecha. Maybe he's a Mecha King Kong.
Mecha King. Yeah, he's gonna put armor on.
Yeah. Okay, I'd take it.
Fuck it. I enjoy giant monster movies unabashedly, so I'm excited for this. Good cast. Kyle Chandler. I'm always there for Kyle Chandler. 11's in this. Millie Bobby Brown.
Yeah, I did.
In this,
yeah,
so.
She looked pretty good in it. I think she's great.
Yeah.
But
yeah, all right. Let's wrap up our San Diego Comic-Con coverage with what we all came to see.
Wonder
DC
Woman
Entertainment. Well, yeah, Wonder Woman too. I mean, yeah, that's
well,
stuff.
DC, all the DC.
All the DC stuff, man. It's so exciting. I got excited about it. Wonder Woman in 1984. We got some footage that was debuted at the panel, not anything that was released to the public because it has just started shooting.
It's not like you want the public to be excited about any DC stuff.
I don't know that I agree with that sentiment, but we'll get there. So basically what they showed off was kind of just Wonder Woman in uniform at a shopping mall, kicking some ass, basically. Says she lassos a couple men and jumps off the second floor. Colors are bright. Action is tough, yet mesmerizing. Ooh, mesmerizing. Yeah, so, I mean, we see more of that 80s setting, obviously, in full display in that footage there. I think the shot we got of Chris Pine was in a mall, too. So clearly that's some sort of big setting for at least one of the set pieces in the movie. We don't really have a whole lot of detail on it other than Cheetah kind of being the villain.
Cool.
But yeah, Patty Jenkins, Gal Gadot, Wonder Woman in 1984.
I'll take it.
Sounds good. DC's got one thing that they know how to do, at least so far.
Maybe,
but they might have two. They might have two. Who's to say? Shazam. We got a teaser trailer for Shazam, and I thought it looked pretty fun.
I laughed.
Yeah, I thought, it's basically big with superheroes.
Yeah, that's true.
And I think that makes for a pretty fun concept. The only thing that kind of it weirds me out a little bit is that this one has tons of visual references to the broader extended universe, the DC universe, and it's just this movie feels so incongruous with everything that has come before it. And that's not necessarily a bad thing. I think it's a good direction. I think for this character particularly, it's definitely a good direction. But it's just like, he's walking around wearing an Aquaman shirt, wearing a Wonder Woman shirt, and I'm like, I don't buy this Shazam, this Captain Marvel being in the same universe as there's even a 1% chance we have to take it as an absolute certainty. Like, it's so weird and out there, like this movie I think honestly would have been better off just kind of being its own thing. I mean, I'm sure it plays perfectly well. It's its own thing. It looks very kind of standard origin story kind of template for it, but just kind of having a lot of those references seems kind of odd. But
visually I think it's similar. I think I don't know, it's definitely, I think it's darker, isn't it? Darker color palette and such.
Is it? Look at his fucking suit.
Well, aside from his suit though,
I don't know. I don't even think that's true because it actually looks like they filmed it on location here and there. Like, it doesn't look like just a bunch of green screen bullshit like Justice League did. Like, it looks like a real movie. Like, they actually went out and shot a movie with it, I don't know. I said, I think it looks fun. I just, it feels weird for me coming off of, Justice League and the like, where I'm just like, this really could be a breath of fresh air, and I hope it is. I hope that, if this works, it's not that this type of tone is appropriate for every character, but I think that this tone would work as well for a Superman, instead of a boring, dour, I hate the world, I hate rescuing people Superman that we got. Like, that's frustrating. This looks fun and energizing and exciting, and I don't know if it's going to be amazing or anything like that, but I do think that it looks kind of solid in its own right and certainly fun. Certainly looks like a fun watch. So I'm hopeful for this one. I will say that. I think that I know whether it's a case of lightning in the bottle, like they just got this one right potentially, and then they're still going to fuck everything up. After or if they got if they're getting the things going in the right direction moving forward, we'll see. But I think what you're getting at is the next one didn't really suggest that they're getting their act together. Is that what you're thinking?
No, it's definitely what I don't want to say one trick pony because they may have a two trick pony, but Aquaman looks like hot garbage. Unless it's just me. Maybe I'm just in a bad mood tonight. I think everything looks like shit. I don't know, but Aquaman definitely looks like shit in my opinion.
I am of the opinion that this looks like Green Lantern underwater.
I like his shouting as he jumps out of the airplane.
I was legitimately laughing after that. Not for the right reason, not in the sense of like, oh yeah, that's such a funny thing. It's just like what the fuck is happening here?
Redheads.
It's the Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom feeling all over again. It's just oh my god, what is going on?
It doesn't look good.
It's I had hopes for this one. I honestly will say that I had hopes for this one in the sense of James Wan coming in, pretty talented director, and like he goes full balls to the wall committing to the comic book aesthetic, and I love that. That's awesome. But then it's juxtaposed with this Aquaman that is everything. He's in a fucking different he's in a different universe. Like that's the Zack Snyder Aquaman, and they just dropped him in the middle of a comic book Aquaman, universe, and it's just like it doesn't work together. It's the same thing with like Shazam. Like he put fucking Shazam next to Ben Affleck Batman, and it's just like this is weird. This isn't right. Like, it's okay to have characters that are different, but at least in the sense of in the MCU, Captain America still works with Iron Man and Thor and all the other Avengers. Like, they all play well off each other, even though they were introduced separately. Obviously there was an overarching plan to say, hey, eventually these things are going to be connected, so we can't make them too disparate from each other, but we don't want to have too much sameness. With this one, it just feels like whiplash in terms of like we're starting with super grim dark, and now we need to go full opposite direction because or the audiences haven't responded well to that. So let's just make super everything bright and colorful and everything. And it's just like, well, it doesn't make sense to kind of have it work that way. And, to have that version of Aquaman here, I kind of feel is I don't know, kind of for me, it just drives a big wedge in this movie where it's just like, I'm totally cool with them going full crazy comic book with this. Like, hell yeah. Like, it's fucking Aquaman, lean into it. But then they were afraid to do Aquaman in the first place. So it's just like, you just got him, you woo, like the whole, that was his whole trailer, like for his
sounds like a fucking Mario.
The main character, for the whole fucking trailer is just spitting one-liners and just shouting, and it's just like, is he going to be a character? If he is, maybe you should show that in your trailer,
Well, he was a kid who summoned the shark.
I just
at the aquarium.
I don't know. I'll watch it.
And his eyes turn yellow for some reason. I don't know why his eyes turn yellow, but his eyes turn yellow. Got the jaundice or something.
Yeah, I don't look. I will watch it. As with many of these things, we'll watch
every
it.
time you've downed a movie tonight, you end it with, well. I'll watch it.
Well, it's. I am generally speaking of the opinion that I would like to give everything, a solid look,
a fair shake.
Just kind of, like, okay, I've sat through 2 hours of this. I can confirm that was as bad as I anticipated it would be. Even it's as simple as that.
Yeah, that's bad.
Even in Humans, we had to go and watch a couple episodes of it. I'm like, yeah, that was every bit as bad as we anticipated it would be. So.
It's true. It's such a funny response. This is probably, it looks like shit. It smells like shit. Tastes like shit. Well, it must be shit. Yep, it's shit.
You gotta know. You gotta run the tests just to make sure. You never know. You say you were looking forward to Iron Fist season 2, so you're not totally absolved from this sort of behavior.
No, I'm not. No, I have my guilty
pleasures, you are
pleasures,
better.
I guess,
you are certainly better about it. Yeah, you know what you like, and that's fine for me. I know what I like, and then sometimes I like to dip my toes into other things, and I'm like, I thought I might like this. Actually, I knew I wouldn't like this. I don't know why I did this. I don't know what I expected. But
so that's San Diego Comic-Con, man, in a nutshell.
yeah. Do you wish you were there this year?
Yeah, I'd totally fucking go there.
I feel like I'd want to go when Marvel Studios was there. Like, that is a panel that I would fucking camp out for and shit. Like, that's when I would want to go.
Sure.
Like, I don't know if I'd want to camp out for Shazam and Aquaman.
DC, yeah.
You know, maybe if they've earned some goodwill in a few years, I'd change my tune on that. But Marvel Studios would be kind of the way, or like Sony. I'm like, fucking hell, God, I don't even want to watch Venom in theaters. I mean, I will. You know, as we established, I will. But I don't want to. I mean, I don't really. I'm curious, but I expect trash. You know, I have to sate my curiosity by knowing how trash it is. So, yeah.
So what have you been up to, man?
I in terms of the usual podcast things of movies and shows, I've done absolutely nothing on that front, I must say. I've been continuing my travels, so I spent past couple days, I guess, in Nashville, Tennessee. First time ever going there. Really enjoyed it. Very cool town. You know, it's a very heavy country music presence, and I'm not a country music listener, to be fair. But it was a very fun city to walk around. Fun to pop into a little honky tonk joint and have some live music. We went to the Grand Ole Opry, saw Martina McBride. So I was with my mom. To be fair, she's more of a country music listener than I am. But you know, it was still enjoyable, even as someone that doesn't particularly care for that genre. City itself is cool though. I'm glad I made it out there. I'm recording from Chesapeake, Virginia, which is my current home. To update our listeners on my current living situation, living with my parents for the time being, and working on my future living situation. But I'm flying out to Buffalo, New York tomorrow, and going on a bit of a trip with my parents. I think Cleveland and then Detroit and a couple other places in Michigan are on the docket. So I'll be out and about. But, you know, traveling's fun and all, but it doesn't leave a whole lot of time to veg and watch things. So that's
the list continues to grow.
Kind of the nature of the beast. Yeah, the list is getting untenable at this point. But I do have my Switch with me. I think I said last episode I wanted to start on Octopath Traveler, and I kind of failed on that mission. I haven't had a whole lot of time to just sit and play on my Switch, honestly. What little time I have had, I've been playing Mega Man 5, you'll be happy to know. But I did pick up the Mega Man X Legacy Collection, which you'll also be happy to know because you're such a big Mega Man fan.
Absolutely.
Collection of X1 through 8, and Mega Man X has always been my jam. I've enjoyed the OG Mega Man, but Mega Man X is kind of what I grew up watching my brothers play and eventually got good enough to actually play myself. So tons of nostalgia for the series, and I'm going to play it, you know, at some point. So hopefully I'll get time to play a few more things along my travels. What have you been up to?
Nothing. Oh, no, I watched Avatar. I'm watching Avatar. I like Avatar a lot. I've been grinding it out. It's really good. I'm in season 2. It's a pretty great cartoon, man. Pretty impressed. Been watching a lot of fucking cartoons lately.
Yeah, you've definitely been on a bit of a cartoon kick.
Yeah, I like cartoons, man. Cartoons are good. Avatar's pretty good. It's funny. It's got some cute little moments. It's got some badass cool stuff. Like, the Fire Nation, there's this guy. And it's the prince's uncle. And he, you know, he's kind of like this overweight older fella. And he's voiced by, I don't know the voice actor's name, but he's voiced by the same guy that voiced the guy in Samurai Jack, the bad guy. You know what I'm talking about? Oh, yo, Samurai Jack. You know what I'm talking about?
I don't know the actor's name, but sure.
Okay, yeah, it was voiced by that guy. Well, anyways, this dude is part of the Fire Nation. The Fire Nation, they shoot fireballs and stuff, right? But when you're a real badass in the Fire Nation, you can actually shoot fucking lightning, dude. And this guy, they were on a ship in the middle of the storm, and their boat almost got struck by lightning. You know what this dude did? I'll tell you what he did. He caught the fucking lightning and shot it out his fingers, dude. It was ridiculous. I was laying in bed and I shot up and I said, "Holy shit!" Yeah. So I don't know. It's cool. I don't know. Guilty. I don't think it's a guilty pleasure.
No,
I think it's pretty well renowned.
I've heard it's very good. Yeah, that's.
Sometimes I question my likes and dislikes. It's like I don't know if I should like this, but I definitely like this. So I'm gonna just go out and say it's pretty fucking good. I recommend it. And that's pretty much all I've been doing. I can't think of anything else. I watched an episode of the X-Files the other night. That's still pretty cool. And RoboCop. I think I talked about RoboCop on the last episode, though. Yeah.
I don't know if you did. I don't think you had watched the. I think you talked about picking up the trilogy, but I don't think you had watched any of them at that point.
Well, I watched RoboCop 1. Let me tell you, that shit is bonkers.
I'd buy that for $1.
Yeah, shit's hilarious. Yeah. It's just way over the top. It's hysterical. It's definitely a funny movie.
Was that the one that you had already seen when you were? I think
talked so.
About,
that was the
was it like 8209 or something like that? Is kind of
the fucking bipedal robot.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was definitely the one I think I've seen. I don't know about 2 and 3. But you kind of scare me with watching them, so I haven't watched them yet.
Well, give it a whirl. Form your own opinion.
I'll give it a whirl, and then I'll have to pick up. The remake, the 2014 remake or whatever it is.
It's fine. It's fine.
Okay, that's cool.
It could have been much worse.
Okay, all right. That's pretty much all I've been up to, man.
Well, very good then. That will do it then. Thank you guys for listening to our podcast here. If you enjoyed what you heard, spread the word. I feel like I'm just taking weird pauses in everything I'm saying.
If you enjoy
what you heard, spread
the word.
What word?
Doesn't even have a cadence to it. It's just fucking weird.
This man's lost his fucking mind. If you would like to support us losing our minds on a weekly basis, you can do so by heading to our Patreon. Just go to watchreviewrepeat.com, which is our website. Go to the premium tab on the top left, click Become a Patron, and that will get you some information on how you can support us. And in doing so, you can get access to bonus episodes, early access to all of our regular episodes, and some cool things of that nature. Current bonus episode is the Mission Impossible bonus episode. We anticipate recording another bonus episode when I return from my trip, but we haven't quite penned what we would like it to be. So stay tuned to our socials for announcement on that front. And on that front, our socials are Twitter feed at WRRPod. Facebook is Watch Review Repeat. Just like us and follow us that way. You can get in touch with us through our Gmail account, which is watchreviewrepeat@gmail.com. Our intro and outro track is Mechanolith by Kevin MacLeod, licensed under the Creative Commons by Attribution 3.0 license. Our next episode that we will record is something Andrew and I are fucking stoked for.
Mission Impossible, man. I am super excited. Yes. I should be watching that right now, but I'm here talking to you about Comic-Con.
Yeah, well, I understand that, I appreciate that you took a personal sacrifice to record with me on kind of the only time that I would be able to do it for a week, so...
Absolutely, man. I do it because I care.
I do hope you enjoy it when you do catch it. I'm honestly hoping I can catch it at some point on my trip. I don't think I
just want to watch the bathroom
week.
fight scene. Just watch the bathroom fight scene. I'm sure it's on the internet.
I mean, you can't do it that way.
Just hold it. Just use it to hold you over. I can't wait to see them scrap in the bathroom. It looks so intense. I would never fight Henry Cavill. That man is huge. That is a large man.
Tom Cruise isn't a large man, but I don't think I'd fight him either. I don't think I'd fight anyone.
He breaks his legs and shit. He doesn't give a fuck.
He's fucking scrappy, crazy. Man. Yeah, he's insane. He's got the power of Xenu on his side. He don't fuck with that.
Unlimited power.
Unlimited. Pow! I feel like we've done that joke like in like the first 10 episodes of this podcast. I could be wrong, but I just got a weird like deja vu feeling when I did that. I'm pretty sure we've done that exact joke before, and it was probably Tom Cruise related too. I think it makes it better. I think it's time to end this episode. What do you think?
All right. The latest on the Minjay.
Later, guys.